Hello, and welcome to Community Conversations. I'm your host, Steve Mantis, and our focus today is on social responsibility. My guest is Rick Atkinson, the chair of Bay Credit Union and a member of the Social Responsibility Committee there. Before we begin our interview, though, I want to give a shout out to a local resident who is showing some social responsibility. I just noticed today on Jean Street, actually 65 Jean Street, the folks there have set up a mini little library in front of their house, built a little building, we'll have a picture on the screen, and are offering books to lend out to just anyone that comes by. Really anyone can participate in social responsibility, and I want to really talk to my guest now, Rick Atkinson, about how the Bay Credit Union has addressed this issue. Welcome, Rick.
Well, thank you, Steve, and thank you for having me here. That's a great little story about the library.
Oh, it is so great. I mean, just the little actions that people do that make a difference in their own lives, in their neighbors, and in their neighborhood.
Yeah, you can think globally, but you got to act locally.
Yeah. So tell me about this Social Responsibility Committee that the credit union has set up. What's that all about?
Well, I'm the president of the Bay Credit Union. And as any financial institution, we have a board of directors and staff. And one of the things that we talked about a great deal was how does a credit union, how does a financial institution act as a good corporate citizen in their community? What things do you do, and how do you go about deciding what to do, and how do you monitor what you're doing and evaluate that and see if you're making a difference or not? And I think lots of corporations are basically just in it to make money, but lots of organizations like credit unions are there to serve their members and aren't necessarily profit motivated at all. And as opposed to banks, I guess, I have a plug for credit unions instead of banks, but we have a sense of wanting to make the world a better place and wanting to make our communities a better place and wanting to assist in whatever way we can. Obviously, we're a financial institution, so our focus is on our members and their financial health. Our prime goal is to assist people in getting mortgages, buying homes, and developing their own personal wealth and their own personal financial stability. But we have a greater obligation, I guess, to the rest of the community. I think everyone does, and I think we have taken a big step in recognizing that that's our obligation and that we should do something about making sure that we do it. So we set up a social responsibility committee of the board and staff and other members. And it brings forward all kinds of ideas for the organization to follow through on, and it evaluates what we're doing. And we meet once a month, and on pretty well every second meeting, we invite a speaker to come in and talk to us. Our most recent meeting, we had Ian Angus from the city to talk to us about the things the city's doing, and and our question always is the same question to everyone: what can a financial institution do to help you? And we get all kinds of great ideas and all kinds of great sort of brainstorming with people and come up with wonderful things to do. And we've done some really important and worthwhile things in the past.
So what I hear you saying is that the credit union isn't talking about really going outside its mandate. They're really focusing on the financial services they provide, and how can they, like as you mentioned with Ian Angus, I guess he was talking about the housing.
Yep.
How can a financial institution help relieve the shortage of housing or affordable housing in Thunder Bay?
Yes, exactly. The history of credit unions, of course, if anyone knows, I mean, I guess started primarily in the prairies and in rural communities when banks were foreclosing on farmers and they wanted to pool their resources to try to keep their farms and to keep their ownership and to protect themselves and to build up their own wealth in a way that would serve their community, not profits that would go somewhere else. And that's been in the DNA of credit unions forever. And credit unions are always much more conscious of the communities that they're in and the way that they serve them and the health of that community in all ways.
So you talk about kind of the background of credit unions. Are there certain values or philosophies that help guide the credit union in the business that they go about?
Absolutely. The credit unions are cooperative entities, and they're basically democratic. The beauty of a credit union is that each member has a vote, and they vote at annual meetings. They elect their board of
So
directors.
who are the members? You mean
Members are the people who have accounts there, who have loans there, who have mortgages there, who are participating, and they each get one vote.
So
one
everyone's
person,
a member who
one
comes
vote.
in and does business there. Everyone's a member.
Everyone can join, yes.
Okay.
And like at a bank, and I don't mean to bash banks, but the structure of corporations is that you buy shares, and one person can vote 100,000 shares. They can vote 100,000 times. But in a credit union, it's one person, one vote. So it's a democratic process. We do not retain profit. If at the end of the year we've paid all of our bills and all of our staff and all of our salaries, etc., if there's money left over, we give it back. We give back a rebate to members. Like if you had a mortgage with us, you would get from our credit union in the past years, it's been maybe up to 15% of the interest that you paid would be given back to you at the end of the year. So it reduces your cost of having a mortgage, and it's a nice cash windfall to have at the end of the year.
So that can be substantial. I mean,
Absolutely.
if I'm paying $1,000 a month on my mortgage, certainly on the early on, 900 of that may be interest.
Yes.
So I could get 15% back on that.
It's thousands of dollars. People that have a mortgage with our credit union have received in refunds and rebates thousands of dollars.
My goodness. And that's because of
We've given back millions.
the value and philosophies of the credit union.
Yep. That we don't retain profit.
What are some of the other things that the credit union does to really live out those values that you're talking about?
Well, one of our prime our prime value is to be a good employer. So we're good to our staff, and we're fair, and they have contracts, whether it's unionized or not. They have contracts that support them in what they're doing and provide them with the kind of benefits that people need. And for example, our Social Responsibility Committee looked at the minimum wage and said that's not adequate for people. So we passed a motion that at our credit union the minimum wage is $14 an hour, not the one that's established by the government, because you can't live on that. So that's the kind of thing that we do to live out our principles.
So really, you could hire people at $10.25 or whatever, $10.85, whatever it is now, but you've chosen to say no. We want to have a higher standard for everyone in the community.
Yep. I don't think an employer has to wait for the government to force them or let them do the right thing. They can just do it themselves.
Good point. We're going to take a little break, and we'll be right back. Please stay with us.